days, 9 hours, and 6 minutes to go before November 5th. So I encourage everyone to go out there and vote. It's super important to vote, to vote, to vote, to make America great again. Whoever you decide to vote for, it's up to you. It's your own personal, not experience, but your own personal space to do. And no one can't tell you who or who you cannot vote for, but it's super important to vote. And if you can't find a way to vote, ask a friend, ask a family member to drive you to the booth section to vote. It's super important. I encourage people not to mail out ballots because you don't want them to be lost in the mix, especially what happened in 2020 election. And I believe that the election was stolen from Donald Trump and the American people. I believe that the far left took advantage of the COVID and have people, instead of going in public or in person to to do their voting ballots, the option was to mail, which I feel like was a big mistake because they cheated. They absolutely cheated, and there was proof that they cheated. And Donald Trump, he called it before they even did an investigation. He called it out that the far left cheated on the votes. And sure enough, they did. And I encourage you guys to watch this documentary called 2020 Mules. It's from not directed, but the person who did it is Assume. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Dasun. Hopefully I pronounced his name correctly, pardon me. He's the one who did this documentary, and to find the truth that why the election didn't make any sense. And it didn't make any sense in 2021. But when people were starting to question it in regards of the vote, everyone thought that no, it was a fair election. It was just right. Donald Trump just lost, and then he just had to face that he lost against Biden. And then when I watched the documentary, I'm like, oh my gosh, the far left actually cheated. They had these mules taking all these ballots and going to different states and just mailing them off, and they're not people that they know. And if people don't know what a mule is, I'm gonna tell you the definition of it, because when I watch a documentary, it's explained what a mule is. A mule is a person who pick up a ballot from location and drop it off to another ballot boxes. So basically it can be Georgia, it can be Arizona, it can be Philadelphia, it can be any different states. So if one person is one state, they can go to different ballot boxes and drop off, ballots. And it's just, that's cheating. If it's not your family member or your friends, why all these mules are doing that to other voters? And it's basically like drug cartel, but instead of you doing drugs, it's ballot trafficking, and they're stealing it, and which is so wrong. And when I watched that documentary on Prime, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just crazy. This is insane what they're doing to the American people. And I was telling my friend about it for him to go watch it, and for some reason he told me he couldn't find it. So I'm like, what do you mean you couldn't find it? I found it on Prime, and I watched the documentary. So apparently the distributor pulled the documentary. Why would they do that? Why would they pull the documentary? So apparently they're going through some lawsuit, or there was a lawsuit. I don't know the whole detail of it, but it was just very strange that they pulled the documentary, because I feel like they didn't want the people to know the truth. I feel like they didn't want the people to make up their own minds and their own conclusions, which I feel like some of them made their own mind in the conclusion that the election was just off. There was something off about it, and they didn't want people to question it. There was like footage of videos of people taking the ballots and mailing them off in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. Like one person did it during the day while people were just standing there doing it the proper way of voting. Like who does that during the day? And who also do it around like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the morning? That sounds very suspicious to me, okay? That sounds like fraud. And sure enough, there was proof of 2020 election fraud. So the far left took COVID as a gift because they took advantage of it. They took advantage of the American people to vote through mail instead of like going in person, instead of like showing photo ID or showing a signature or making sure they're eligible to vote. They didn't do all that in 2020. So when Trump said that it was rigged, it was 100% rigged, and it was 100% factual, and that is fact checked. So now, obviously the documentary is not on Prime, but I can tell you where to go to watch the full documentary. Pardon me. You don't have to take my word for it, but you can definitely watch it. And then the person who you can see, not see, but who you can type up to watch the documentary, his name is David Todd Singler. So just type up his name on YouTube, and then you can pull up the 2020 Mule, the documentary. And this documentary was incredible. It was just crazy. It was just eye-opening for me. And I just pray that this election does not happen. I mean, I pray, let me rephrase that. I pray what happened in 2020, that it doesn't happen 2024. I pray that history do not repeat itself, that it should be a fair election and give the people the right to vote who they want to vote, instead of the far left cheating and making the decision for the American people, which is not right. I get it. The far left don't want Donald Trump, they want Kamala Harris, but that's not their it's not their decision to make. It's the people's decision to make who they want to vote for, who wants to be elected for the next 4 years. And I feel like the far left, the Democrats, should just mind their business and let the people vote and do what they need to do instead of cheating, which they did in 2020 election. So again, it's super important. I can't stress enough to get out there and vote on November 5th, and just do what you have to do, and don't let the far left make the decision for us. We have the rights as Americans to vote who we want to vote and to make the decision that's going to be best for this country. So thank you so much for watching. That's it, and I will talk to you guys soon. And let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this video, and also let me know if you did watch the 2020 Muse and what your comments about it. Do you believe that the election was stolen from Trump and the American people? Do you believe that it was fraud? Do you believe that the far left had something to do with it? Now, a lot of people have their own questions about it, but I want to know for sure. And please don't be shy. I already told you my thoughts, that I believe that it was rigged. I believe it was stolen. Donald Trump won that election fair and square, but the far left just took it away from him because they didn't want him to be in office for another 4 years again. So let me know what you think and your thoughts are, and please don't shy away of your comments, because I have thick skin, so I'm ready for it. And again, thank you so much for watching. That's it, YouTube channel, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. And also, one thing I like to add, Fulton County, they were the worst. They were the worst of not counting the ballots, leaving early, putting all the ballots in the suitcases, and then just left, saying that there was like a leak or a flood in the facility, which that was a total lie, because there's footage of that. So I just hope and pray that Fulton County, Georgia, will do the right thing and actually count this year, and not cheat and not steal, not take away of people's ballots, because it's just not fair. And what they did in 2020 was absolutely disgusting and disgraceful. They should be ashamed of themselves, and they should be prosecuted. That's another thing I needed to add. They should have been prosecuted. The people that were stealing the ballots and not counting, and counting, you know, double at a time, they should be prosecuted for that, because that is stealing. That is a federal thing. That's like stealing someone's mail, and you're not getting prosecuted for that. It's the same thing with the ballots, with the voting ballots. And I feel like that was just not fair. That was unjust. And hopefully this time around that they will do the right thing. Whoever's counting the votes this time around will vote correctly and do it correctly, and not cheat and not hide ballots. That's all I have to say about that. Thank you.